Hello students, in the last lecture we were discussing concept of disease under health education and community pharmacy, and under that topic I was discussing natural history of diseases, and we have seen that the term natural history of diseases means the way in which a disease evolves, or you can say progresses over time from its earliest stage till its final termination into recovery or disability or death. Friends, in short, we can say natural history of diseases means the life of a disease from its birth to death. That is what it covers, all the changes which takes place from very early stage till its end in any given disease. And we have seen that when we look at the history of every disease, we will find every disease has got different natural history, which may vary from person to person. But in case of communicable diseases, two stages are common in any given communicable disease, and therefore, in general, we have seen that natural history of any disease consists of two phases. One is pre-pathogenesis phase and another is pathogenesis phase. In pre-pathogenesis phase, we have seen that the disease agent has not yet entered into the body of host, but it is prevailing in the environment of that host, and the host is always at the risk of getting that particular disease. So that particular stage we have seen is called as pre-pathogenesis phase. And in pathogenesis phase, we have seen that the disease agent enters into the host body, and the time interval from the entry of agent in the host till the appearance of signs and symptoms of the disease is known as incubation period. Then this period we have seen, incubation period, is followed by pathological changes, or we can say the damage which can caused in the host body by the disease agent. Then finally a disease may leads to recovery or disability or death depending on the number of factors, that is age of the host, immunity power of the host, proper diagnosis, time of diagnosis, whether it is diagnosed in early stage or late stage, then whether proper medication has been given or prescribed or not, whether the patient or host has taken the medicines properly or not, how his body is responding to medicine. So the number of factors will lead to the final outcome of any disease. And after that, sometimes the host may become carrier of the disease with or without productions of signs and symptoms of the disease. Friends, carrier means there are certain diseases in which a host will have no damage, but he is continuously a source of disease agent or a source of infection, you can say. For example, in case of amoebiasis, you will find that there are certain persons or individuals who are known as silent carriers. Now, in these individuals, there will be no effect of amoebiasis, but they regularly excrete the microorganism, that is Entamoeba histolytica, in their stools and act as a source of infection. So either any disease will end with complete recovery, or you can say it can disable an individual, or it can lead to death of an individual, or there will be no effect on the individual and the individual will act as a silent carrier for that particular disease. Now we are proceeding with all the three factors discussion one by one. Now the first requirement of any disease we have seen is disease agent or agent factor, you can say. So it is the primary requirement for occurrence of any given disease, and disease agent is a substance, living or non-living, or a force, tangible or intangible, the excess, presence or relative lack or absence of which is the immediate cause of any particular disease. This is the definition of disease agent. What is it says? That disease agent is a substance, or you can say it is a living microorganism, or it is a living thing, or non-living thing, or a force, tangible or intangible. Tangible means known and intangible means unknown. Say for example, stress is the disease agent for many diseases. Now stress cannot be shown. Stress is not a living thing, stress is not a non-living thing. It is a force which cannot be shown, but which you can either know or you cannot know. Suppose because of stress many diseases occur. Now if you know that this is the reason for the stress, and because of stress I am suffering from this problem, so in that case you can avoid the reason behind your stress, and you can control your disease, or you can get rid of that disease. So it sometimes a force which is either known forces, you can say friction, vibration. If your job or is like that, where you are exposed to continuous vibrations or continuous frictions, particularly the people who are working with breakers. There are breakers for breaking walls or breaking cement, concrete material. Now the person who is handling breakers, that breaker continuously vibrates, so that vibration may lead to gap in joints of his hand. So this is a force which is responsible for occurrence of disease, and it is known. So there are certain known and unknown forces because of which disease can occur. Now there are number of disease agents. All these disease agents you can classify as number one, biological agent. Now as the name itself suggests, biological agents are living microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa, etc. They are responsible for causation of many diseases, and we call them communicable diseases or infectious diseases. Now the second factor is nutrient agent factor. Now these agents are present in your diet like vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, then minerals, and you all know that because of absence of these agents there can be a particular disease, and because of excess of these agents there can also be the diseases. Say for example, because of absence of carbohydrate you will suffer from hypoglycemia, and because of excess of carbohydrate you will suffer from hyperglycemia or diabetes mellitus. So like that. Then next agent is physical agents, third category. It includes heat, you can say cold, humidity, then sound, radiations, etc. You all know that if one is exposed to excessive heat, it may lead to the causation of disease. If one is exposed to extreme cold, again it can lead to some disease or signs and symptoms. If one is exposed to sound, excessive sound, then definitely the diseases related with ear will happen. If one is exposed to radiations, like the people working in radioactive laboratories or in diagnostic centers, So they may have certain diseases because of continuous exposure. Then next agent is chemical agents. Now these chemical agents, you can say they are endogenous chemicals and exogenous chemicals, like those chemicals which are present in your body and whose excess or whose deficiency can lead to the causation of disease. Say for example cholesterol, if more cholesterol will be there in your body, it will lead to cardiac diseases. Then say for example insulin is a chemical or it is a hormone which is present in our body and which controls the metabolism of diabetes. If that hormone is not secreted in your body, or if it is secreted in less quantity, then definitely it will have impact on your sugar metabolism and related disease will occur, or hyperglycemia will occur. Then certain exogenous chemicals are found outside the human body, or you can say in your environment, and these agents enters into the body of host or an individual through inhalation, or you can say through ingestion of food, or sometimes through inoculation by some mosquitoes or some other agencies. So say for example insecticide, pesticides, fumes, carbon monoxide, vehicle pollutant, or pollutants which are present in the atmosphere or in the atmospheric gases. Then next agent is mechanical agents like vibrations, chronic frictions, and other mechanical forces can lead to fractures, sprain, gap, or other types of injuries. Then next is social agents. Now it includes poverty, drug abuse. Drug abuse means misuse, alcohol consumption, then unhealthy lifestyle, social isolation, then what you can say mental depression, or so on. So these social agents can also lead to various diseases. Say for example because of poverty, balanced diet or balanced food is not available to the family, and sometimes it can lead to deficiency of particular nutrient, and which is leading to the what you can say a particular disease. Now if in society, say for example this consumption of alcohol or gutka or betel nut chewing is more in your surrounding, then one is exposed to the risk of getting these habits. And if or those people who are exposed to those habits, because of continuous consumption of these things, there can be cancer, or there can be bad effects on certain organs of our body, and which lead to disease. So friends, here we comes to the end of the first factor which is required or which plays an important role in disease causation, that is disease agents.